You all, I've made several videos about dessert charcuterie boards. And so in this video, I wanted to kind of overview. What are the basics that I use? How do I make these boards? What principles do I use? Because even though they look really different, they're all using similar principles in order to create them. And what I really love is that you can create these for any occasion, and then they're just grab and go. There's several different flavors and different types of desserts. The first principle I think is important is having a variety of sizes. You want to use desserts with different sizes. Big things like cupcakes, medium things like shooters and chocolate covered strawberries, and candy and little cream puffs work great as fillers. Hey, I was just editing the video and I wanted to interject here and say, like, where do you get all this stuff? Well, I make a lot of my stuff, but honestly, there's so much good stuff, whether you're going to Sam's Club or Walmart or you go to an actual bakery, you do not need to make all of this yourself. Especially like a lot of the stuff I buy, a lot of the stuff I use, I don't just all make from scratch. Like the cream puffs, those are store-bought. There's a lot of ways you can do this completely without cooking. You can do all of the baking for it. Just know you don't need to bake all of it. So like a lot of times I'll bake the cupcakes and then fill in the gaps with stuff that I buy. But it's more about arranging food than having to bake a bunch of food. So hopefully that helps. So when I look at the components I'm using for the board, I'm using kind of a color family that goes together. So you can see that the peanut butter drizzle goes with the peanut butter frosting, goes with this kind of caramel color, and then I pull some reds with the candy and with the strawberries and with the raspberries, and then obviously we have brown toads. Now most of food is in neutral colors, but I think I've pulled in kind of a color palette here, if you will. I've got the browns, the chocolate browns, and then I've got the whites, and I've got some reds, and these caramel colors. I wanted to bring in those caramely shades. That's through the peanut butter, through the drizzle, through this, even through the coconut cream shooters. You can see in this color palette, I used a lot of darker colors. I used red and gold tones and just a little bit of white. And then on this color palette, you can see I love bringing in these spring colors and flavors. So really the look and the taste tied together there for a really bright board. The third principle I use in all my boards is creating an S-shape or these curved lines. You can see these Ghirardelli red candies create it, the strawberries as well as these multicolored Ghirardelli candies create that curved shape. And then here on this board, I use cucumbers to create that shape. It's very pleasing to the eye and it's one of my favorite principles to use. Now, the fourth tip I have for you is when you build your board, always work greatest to smallest, or biggest to smallest. Sorry, I'm thinking math teacher stuff right now. So I started off with placing my cupcakes, and you guys can see I had two different flavors, so I added a variety there. Next, I'm adding my medium-sized pieces. Those are my coconut cream shooters, and my chocolate covered strawberries will be coming next. By the way, all of the videos that I've referenced so far will be linked in the description, as well as the videos that have the different recipes. So the recipes for the raspberry cupcakes, the coconut cream shooters, and so on. So you'll place this stuff on, and you guys can see I've kind of created a focal point in the middle, and now I'm adding the strawberries in. Now I tuck some of the strawberries around the cupcakes, kind of in that S shape that I just talked about. I create some groupings off to the side, and once I have the big parts there, I'm filling in with candy, filling in with cream puffs. I may go back and add some bigger components too. I may go back and add some cupcakes like you just saw me do, and that's totally okay too. There's a lot of putting stuff on, taking stuff off, but I do generally find it helpful to work biggest to smallest when I'm creating my board. You always want to work with the shape of your board too. So here I actually have a circular board, so you'll notice like my candies and things like that are following that circular shape there. And like I showed you on the rectangular boards, I still use a lot of S shapes. Now, the other important tip I have for you is fill your board. You do not want any gaps. So any gaps you have, stack candy up. You don't want just one layer, you want multiple layers. So add. And here's my board. I hope you found these tips helpful. If you'd like to see more dessert charcuterie boards, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.